What up? What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Let's get it going here. All right, let's do a couple things here. Got to do some, I guess they call it house cleaning. Is that what it is? I'm still setting up. But nonetheless, we are about to rock and roll here. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. I think it's pretty amazing that we're seeing the same information coming from the left again. Let me be clear about something. And thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time watching me, please like, follow, and subscribe. And if you like my information, please share this video, share the video. Okay. I greatly appreciate it if you would share this video. Let's talk about the both sides. We constantly hear them saying the rhetoric is from on both sides. It's both sides. It's both sides. We constantly hear that. Is it both sides? Can we talk about it? Can we have an open discussion about it? Let's just look into it. Let's do a deep dive into the whole both sides scenario that we're constantly hearing. And the only time we ever hear that it's both sides is when the left gets caught doing something, or when a leftist activist is doing something, right? When a leftist activist is making the left look bad. Look, we can't look bad by ourselves, so we have to come out and said it's both sides. Is it just me seeing this? Am I the only one recognizing this? I know it's not the case, but we're hearing it constantly. It's both sides. It's both sides. No. It's not both sides. I mean, they're saying it's both sides, but it's not both sides. How many Tesla, or not even Tesla, how many car dealerships did you see the vehicles getting burned up? How many? From those on the right. How many MAGA Republicans went to a car dealership, setting it on fire? How many MAGA Republicans did you see going to a business that went woke and was trying to shut the business down? Now, what conservatives and Republicans and MAGA extremists did, you know what they did? When a woke company started doing something with the wokeism, they just stopped going to the store. That's it. We talked about it, of course, but no one went there trying to burn the store up. None of that happened. And let me bring something else to everybody's attention too, because we're seeing an uptick of violence from the left. Not that it hasn't been, there already, but we're seeing an uptick. And every single time a new act of violence takes place, you know what they say? J6. What about J6? Did they burn the building down? No. Did they? No. Did they take anyone's life there? No. Let's just be brutally honest here. Can we just be honest? Okay, so that's the only thing they talk about. Oh, J6, J6, J6. They love J6. I mean, they really do. They look forward to January 6th coming around every single year. They love it. And I'm just waiting for the actual truth of J6 to come out. And then I wonder how much they're going to love it when it comes out then. Oh, it's not true. It's not factual. It's not true. That's what they're probably going to end up saying. Would not surprise me at all. Would not surprise me at all if that's what they start saying. But all of this violence that we're seeing in the country is coming from where? Let's just be honest. I've been one of the main ones saying that if the left, they're constantly talking about gun control. They're saying that they need to remove the guns from the streets of America, and they never say from the households of the law-abiding citizens. They just say from the streets of America. They constantly say this, so when they implement their tyranny, they can come bring it down onto us. But they never want to address who's causing the problems in the country, especially when it comes to gun violence even. I've always said that if we could do a ban, like I was just saying, a ban, here I'm agreeing with the left. Let's do a gun ban. Let's ban all guns in America from registered Democrats. Now, the Democrats are constantly screaming about gun control. We got to do gun control, more gun control. If they truly want to have gun control, they should lead by example. No registered Democrat should own a gun. None of them. And if Democrats would just give up all of their guns, we could alleviate 90% of the gun violence that we see in the country. 90%. If no registered Democrats or no thinking Democrats, I'm a little bit Democrat. No, if we say all Democrats, no guns at all, we could alleviate 90%. Now, the only reason why I say that 90% and not 100%, because if you have 10% there, because people will be people, right? You will have people want to protect their families. You're still going to have that. You're still going to have that. So there will be some involvement. Police officers still going to have guns, right? There's still going to be some of that. That's in that 10%, them doing their jobs. But see, Democrats don't want that. They want the law-abiding citizen not to be able to have any kind of way to protect themselves. That's what they want. They don't want the law-abiding citizen to be able to protect themselves. And we all know it's true. So this violence that we're seeing across the country is coming mainly from one side. Now, look, we're talking about political rhetoric, people saying stuff. There's this thing called free speech, and we all utilize it. We all utilize it. I've been one of the main ones saying that free speech starts for me. I don't know about you. I can't speak for you. But for Will Johnson, free speech starts when you say something that I don't like. Let me say that again. Free speech for Will Johnson starts when you say something that I don't like. You get it? And that doesn't mean because you said something I don't like, doesn't mean I'm going to go out and start being angry. I'm going to start doing violent activity. It doesn't mean that at all. It means, for me, it means just the opposite. It means you get to say something. You get to say whatever it is you want to say about me. That's what that means. That's what it means. You get to say the stuff that I don't agree with about me. That's what you get to do. You understand? You get to do that. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. But guess what? When I say stuff that these radical liberals don't like me calling them radical, right? And President Trump coined that term. I can't own it. President Trump called it radical leftist lunatics, right? But when I talk about them, I get messages. They've threatened me. They want to bring bodily harm to me. Some of them have said that the same thing that happened to Charlie Kirk should happen to me. And for what? What did I do? Speak my mind. I would go and say 99.999% of the people that's saying this hateful stuff to me, I have never met in my life. Probably 100%. Well, probably 99.9%. They get behind the keyboard and they'll say the most despicable things ever about me and to me. And they want the most terrible things to happen to me. And I've never seen these people in my life. Never been in the physical room with them at all. But because of my thinking and because of what I say and how I believe, they say all these nasty things. For me, you know what this confirms for me? That we are truly spiritual beings. I mean, just think about it really quick, everybody. If I don't physically touch you, you have no reason to want to physically harm me. There's none at all. Right? And I completely agree that you should be able to defend yourself if someone's trying to harm you or your family. By all means, I'm with you. Even if you don't like me, I will help you defend yourself and your family. Right? That's how we are as conservative Christians. That's how we are. Christians being first, though. Because we believe that everyone should have the freedom to live their life, regardless if I agree with it or not. Regardless if I agree with it or not, you should be able to live the life that you want to live. But they don't see it the same way. They see that because you don't agree with their lifestyle or their way of thinking, because the way they target children, the way they target our society, the way they target businesses, the way they target our government, the way they target our God, right? They target us with all of this stuff, and we just like, okay, that's the way you feel. That's the way you feel. But because people like Will Johnson won't go along and agree to the sinful acts that they're committing and saying it's good, they say something's wrong with me. We are spiritual beings, everybody. Why in the world would you allow somebody that you have never met say something to get under your skin? To be honest with you, I really don't understand. I understand it, why people get upset. I do. I understand it. I just don't know why they allow it to happen. I guess, maybe because I've received so much despicable language, despicable hate words, everything. Yeah, there's such thing as hate words. It's still free speech. I may not like what they're saying, right? It's still free speech. But I've received so much. I received so much of it that maybe for me receiving the hate comments and everything, I'll just let it roll off. I just ignore it because I've received so much of it. And because of what I'm doing, because I'm just speaking out, maybe I just gotten used to it. And I'm thinking that if I'm not getting these people to attack me, maybe I'm not doing my job. Because, this is how it works. And y'all can tell me if you think I'm wrong. And that is perfectly fine. We have this manuscript for life. Did you know we have a manuscript for life? We have a how-to for life. There's a book for us that's a how-to book. And in this book, there's a whole bunch of words, right? There's a whole bunch of words in this book. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Holy Bible. Well, the words in this book, if you read them out loud, the demonic demons that hear the word, how do they react? Come on now. How do they react? When you take scripture and you read what the word says in the Bible, how do the demons react to it? They go, rah, rah, oh no, how dare you, stop it, because they don't want to hear the word of God. They don't want to hear it. Which brings it to you and I, which are just human beings. And God gave us a thing that's called a tongue. And now that tongue can be used to say positive things, and that tongue can be used to say negative things, just write down nasty things, right? The tongue. And because you say something as a Christian, you say something positive, and you speak out against the evil wickedness of this world, how do they react? You read stuff in the Bible, the demons hear the word from the God's Bible. How do they react? You talk about the evilness in this world and what they're doing based on the belief on what the Bible says. How do the people react? They act the same way the demons do when they hear God's word. They act out in violence. And then some of these people, they'll go and try to say, it's because of what they're doing. Like, for example, ICE, right? They're bringing up ICE as an excuse for these people to go react in a violent manner. ICE is just out there doing their jobs. And if the Democrats under Joe Biden, if they would have never brought in millions upon millions of criminals into the country, people that are not American citizens, President Trump wouldn't have to do this right now. Does that make sense to anybody? Let me say that again. If President Trump, if they would have just kept President Trump's border policies in place when Joe Biden and the Democrats had control, President Trump would not have to clean up their mess right now. He wouldn't have to be doing any of this. But see, the way I see it as a black man in America, and my color has nothing to do with it, but according to the left, it's color for everything. It's the reason why I'm bringing it up. The way I see it is that the Democrats are repeating history, and we're seeing history unfold once again because the Democrats are losing access to their slave labor. Back in the day when Abraham freed the slaves, the Democrats lost their slave labor. It's the same thing happening all over again. And the Democrats are piping mad about it. They're mad because they lost their slave labor. And they're saying, how dare you take away our slave labor? They're even calling some of these people that came into the country illegally American citizens, and they're not American citizens. You can call them citizens of Earth. Sure. You can do that all day long. Every single person on the planet is a citizen of Earth. I think we all agree to that. But there's a reason why we have laws, and there's a reason why we have borders. And what they do, labeling these ICE members as the new Gestapo, because that's what they're calling them now. They call them the new Gestapo. They're saying that the ICE members are picking up American citizens just off the streets of America and disappearing them. They're actually saying it. They're just picking random Americans off the street because of their complexion and just disappearing them. And now ICE members wearing masks so that the left, and that's the reason why they're wearing masks, because the left wants to find out who they are so they can go and harass their families the same way they did the Supreme Court justices. You remember Brett Kavanaugh? You remember what they were doing to Brett Kavanaugh or wanted to do to Brett Kavanaugh and his family? Do y'all remember? So these ICE agents, they don't want to get caught up with all of that. They just want to do their jobs. And again, they wouldn't have to be out there if they want to let millions upon millions of criminals into the country. And yes, if they came across the border unlawfully, that makes them a criminal. It's not like part-time criminal activity. You're a criminal. Now listen to this. This is the reason why there's violent activity happening right now against ICE agents for stuff like this. And then they tell us we got to tone down the rhetoric. Tone down the rhetoric. Before I play this, let me explain to y'all what the rhetoric, when they talk about tone the rhetoric down. The rhetoric that the left is saying tone down is us. When they say the rhetoric that we need to do, we need to stop talking about ICE getting these illegal criminals. That's the rhetoric that they want us to stop. They want the rhetoric of ICE wearing masks to stop. They want the rhetoric of us not going along with the whole perversions that they're pushing onto our children and our society to stop. That's the rhetoric that they're talking about. When they go to these facilities and they apprehend all of these people that are in the country illegally, they want that to stop. So in order for them to stop being violent, we have to stop wanting law and order in the country. We have to stop acknowledging reality in the country. Is anyone else getting this, or is it just Will Johnson? Listen to this.
ICE is looking more and more like an American Gestapo.
They're huddled around the elevator banks in masks without identifying information. What a terrifying, like, these are Gestapo tactics.
But it has created this year, as they've seen the kind of fascist ICE Gestapo militias go round up Latino American citizens in places like LA.
ICE agents, masked ICE Gestapo agents, getting more funding than any other law enforcement agency in the history of the United States.
ICE running Gestapo-like around our country.
The Gestapo had the same function. It was there to draw a distinction between us and them. It was not federally, it was controlled by the leader. And we're seeing disturbing similarities between this force and the Gestapo.
We've got these masked thug cowards kidnapping innocent people and sending them off to be slaves or tortured in other countries.
Dressing like thugs and acting like thugs.
People still want to come here despite the crazy. They still want to come here because they know in this land, their voice is protected. Their rights are protected. And there won't be jackbooted thugs coming in wearing masks over their face to take them off the streets. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Simone, that's happening.
Oh, it's happening.
That's happening right now.
Y'all see that? So they push this nonsense like this. And what are we supposed to do? Ignore that they're even saying this? We can't ignore it, because the very fact that they're doing it is the very reason why people are out there retaliating the reason against ICE members right now. Because all that, what about all that rhetoric? What about everything they just said there? Are we supposed to ignore all of that, what they just said? Like, none of that matters. And what I've noticed is that when they say stuff like that, the people that are simple-minded, that will believe anything, they're the ones going out doing these horrible crimes. If you can get people to believe that a man, after 60 years on earth, all of a sudden he puts on a dress and lipstick, he's no longer a man. If you can get people to believe that, you can get people to believe anything. I mean, think about that really quick. I mean, this is the society that we live in. This is the world that we currently live in. They're actually getting people to believe that. You understand? And I know we kind of brush it off somewhat. You know, we kind of like let it go. It's kind of like, you know, that's just them doing their thing, them being a certain way. We kind of like, there's, it's like a fad. It eventually go away. Right? We do it like it eventually go away. And it's actually intensified. Well, I take it back. When President Trump went back in the office, he got rid of just about all of it. He got rid of just about all of it he actually got rid of all of it in the White House. To my understanding, there's no men walking around in a dress right now in the military. Right? To my understanding, there's no generals, no more generals walking around with a dress on. They're no longer pushing that. My point is that if you can get someone to believe that, you can get them to believe anything. I mean, anything. And that's exactly what we're seeing happening right now. They're getting people to believe anything. Just like this guy that was in Dallas yesterday doing a horrible crime at an ICE facility, because all the rhetoric I just played for you. We got someone going to an ICE facility, shooting, and they take the lives of 2 people, 3, including himself, and injured others. And the people of the life that he took end up being immigrants, illegal immigrants. So now, because it was the illegal immigrants that lost their lives, these liberals are going, well, he was there to take out illegal immigrants. He wasn't there to take out ICE members. So he must be MAGA. He must be a Trump supporter, because who lost their life? It was illegal immigrants. No one else. Illegal immigrants. So that must be the reason. Why go to an ICE facility if that's the case? If that's the case, that someone is trying to do this to illegal immigrants, there's a Home Depot down the street. Why go to an ICE facility? This is how liberals think. And they do this because they're lying. They're trying to convince people to believe the lies. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. Because I knew this was going to happen. And I was thinking about this yesterday. And it's just a matter of time before they come out. Oh, he's another MAGA Republican. Because, according to the liberals, they do no wrong. They've been turned over to a reprobate mind. So all the wicked, evil things that they do, they believe is good. Let me show you an example. Listen to this.
The messages on the bullet say anti-ICE, but the people who have died were detainees. 2 detainees, a 3rd detainee is injured. Who is at that ICE facility? What is it like in that area of Texas?
You see that right there? It had anti-ICE on the bullet casings, right? And there's a picture. I actually put it in the thumbnail for those of you who can see it. Put anti-ICE on there. But it wasn't for ICE. And some of you say it's a joke, but who was it for? Who's it for? Watch this.
I just talked to a woman who works across the street practically. And if we can show the map, I can take you through it, because I think this is important in understanding exactly what we're looking at and what was happening at the time.
Yeah, this is really important, everybody. We got to make this distinction that it was not ICE agents that they were going after, but illegal immigrants. But there's a Home Depot right down the street. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say Home Depot down the street, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? But no, he's going to go to the ICE facility to do this. Come on, give me a break. See, liberals don't think.
If we take a close look at the ICE facility, you see that the ICE facility has this parking lot in the back, right? And then you see the location where the shooter was located. That's an immigration attorney's office.
Oh, it's the immigration attorney's office. Just happened to be close to an ICE facility. So it must have been that, right? It must have been the workers that he was going after, because, it had to been them. It had to been them, It had to been them.
Right next door is another immigration attorney's office. I talked to a woman who works in that building. She says that her 40 employees were not there at the time. She was not there. A security guard was there. He didn't hear gunshots, but she explained what happens at the facility.
So, got me to thinking here. She told everyone to take the day off. Why out of all the days, she tells everyone not to come in on this day? Anyone else pick up on that? Out of all the other days, because they're constantly bringing people into this ICE facility. But today, y'all need to stay home. Don't come in today. 40 people, even including the owner, don't come in today. Is anyone else seeing it?
Says that normally she and her attorneys would be out there waiting with their clients to check in with ICE. So there's 2 things that happen at that ICE facility.
Oh, normally they would be out there, but today, this day, you take the day off. You take the day off today. Someone should go to them. The FBI should go and ask them and question them, why of all the other days that you're out here, but today you're not out here today? This woman is right here spilling the beans. She's spilling the beans. No one on here picked up on it.
Regular individuals who have check-ins with ICE would go there, present themselves to ICE to abide by the law. And there's also an area where detainees are bussed in or out for some sort of processing. Now, she says that she's shaken. Everybody in her office is shaken. All of the people in those immigration attorneys' offices are shaken because normally, Katie, they would be standing outside that facility with their client waiting to go in. Now, there's a tweet from DHS.
Y'all see that? Usually they would be standing out there. I don't think anyone else really picked up on that. Are y'all seeing it too? Out of any other time, usually they would be standing out there, but this day of all days, none of them are there today. None of them are there. Am I missing something?
That says, quote, the shooter fired indiscriminately at the ICE building as well as at a van in the Sally Port where the victims were shot. So again, that's why these immigration attorneys are so shaken, because they would have been out there if one of their clients would have had an ICE check-in appointment.
And we're still waiting for more information on who the victims are. That has not been released so far. But I wonder, how does law enforcement contend with what the FBI showed, what Kash Patel tweeted, this idea or this evidence that he says shows that the bullet casings contained anti-ICE messaging, but the people who were shot and killed were detainees.
They're trying to paint this brush like it's not us. It's only those on the right. It's not us. It's not us. It's only those on the right. They're the only ones that's committing all of these problems. Not us. Oh, no, it's not us. We're loving. We're compassionate. It's not us. You know, the devil uses people to deceive other people, and them coming out there saying that they're loving, compassionate, and it's never them. But they're the main ones calling ICE Nazi Gestapos. They're calling ICE vigilantes. Because they're masked, because they don't want to get doxxed. They've been attacking ICE over and over and over again. You even have some mayors like Mayor Bass and Mayor Johnson telling their police department not to assist ICE, especially when they're getting attacked. Allow them to get attacked. Maybe this will make ICE go away. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You even have Chris Cuomo chiming in about both sides. Chris Cuomo, left-leaning Chris Cuomo. And the light bulb came on Chris Cuomo, and you know what? The light bulb has been kind of shining here lately. So I'll give him some props. Hopefully the light bulb will stay on. Hopefully.
This game of the battle to the bottom of which side is worse, you guys are literally debating who's more violent, the right or the left. There's no statistical evidence that the left is anywhere near as violent in politics. The ADL, everybody. That's your argument right after Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck by a guy who thought he was standing up for his trans lover? You just shot him in the neck. You're going to make the case that it's all about the right? How stupid do you have to be? It's not about stupidity. It's about convenience. You're so desperate for clickbait. You're so desperate to be relevant, to be in the mix, that you say whatever is going to get you the clicks. Change the game. Change the game.
How stupid can you be? I mean, this Chris Cuomo. Remember him? He was on CNN. He hated Trump. Oh my goodness. He said he was right there every step of the way with all the insanity from the left. He was there for every step of the way. Every step of the way. And now listen to him. See, when some people see the truth, you can't unsee it. That's how it works, right? When you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And then it's just like, you can't unsee it. That's what happened with me. I was raised to believe that the Democrats were for minorities, black people, women, the small man. I was raised to believe that. I was raised to believe that the Republicans, some of you have heard this story before, and the story is not unique to me. And it's just it's not unique at all. It's predominantly taught in the Black community, because the Democrats figured that if they could get Black people to teach their children that the Republican Party is the party not for them, when it was the Republican Party that freed the slaves, freed Black people in this country, that gave Black people a voice in this country, if they can get Black people to reverse their thinking and believe the lie, they can control Black people. And that's exactly what's been happening. So once I got older and moved to California, of all places, my eyes got open there. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I give all credit to God. I mean, that's all I can do. I have to. I mean, look, God gets all the credit for opening my eyes. Because if you think about it, and look, this is not me trying to demonize anybody. The left, they don't need my help. Everything that they do and they support is evil and wicked under the sun, according to Scripture. There's nothing evil and wicked under the sun that the Democrat Party as a whole does not support. And I've constantly asked people, name one thing, just one, that they don't support. And you know what they bring up now? They bring up Epstein, because they believe Trump's name is in there. If Trump's name was in the files, Biden's DOJ would have released him already. They would have released him before the election, because they knew that Republicans were the main ones constantly saying that you need to release the files. You need to release the files. Republicans were saying it for years. And all of a sudden, because they believe now, just like, you get them to believe a man in a dress is now a woman, you can get them to believe anything. So now they believe that President Trump is in the files because they've been told to. And I think personally they're getting played. And at the same time, I think Biden's DOJ, when they went in there, they had the opportunity. They burned all the evidence that they could. They got rid of everything that they could. Just like J6. See, the Democrats love bringing that up, but they don't want to bring up that they deleted 1.5 terabytes of data. That's a lot of data. 1.5 terabyte of data just gone, never to be recovered. Never to be recovered. But they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. Here's another example of them trying to make a connection that is MAGA Republicans that have something to do with this ICE facility in Dallas.
You can't just assume by that what was written on that shell casing that that's necessarily his motivation.
Oh, okay. So on the shell casing, it said anti-ICE. So you can't assume. You cannot, what he's saying, you cannot assume his motivation. Nope. He was just kidding. It was just a joke. It's like it's like a Jimmy Kimmel joke, right? Him writing anti-ICE on the casing of the bullets. It's just like a Jimmy Kimmel joke. That's all it is. So you can't take it serious. You don't even know his motivation. Listen to him.
You can't just assume by that what was written on that shell casing that that's necessarily his motivation. He could have been doing that to thinking it was funny, trying to put law enforcement on the wrong track. This is where when you analyze the person's phone, computer, talk to his family and friends, that you get an idea of what his motivation perhaps really was.
Oh, not the fact that he had it on the bullets casing. No, that had nothing to do with it. That's just a Jimmy Kimmel joke style, right? That's a Jimmy Kimmel joke. It's funny. Ha, 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 ha. A Jimmy Kimmel style joke on the bullet. That's all that is. Y'all get it? Y'all get what I'm saying here? Because see, Jimmy Kimmel made the despicable comments. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't funny. Jimmy Kimmel apparently used to be on this show called, I don't remember the name of the show. It was a group of men. They would just sit down and they would just drink beer. I never really watched it. I saw clips back in the day of it. It was a show back then. And that show, going back and looking at it, it was funny. It was funny. And they pretty much kind of talked about everything. It was actually funny. But Jimmy Kimmel by himself, and he's on there doing these shows, and they show these clips, I've never heard anything funny from him. Nothing has been funny from him. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? It was some show. It was like called The Man Show or something. I don't think it was called The Man Show. But it was a whole bunch of it was a group of men. Group of men that would do this, they would sit around and drink beer. And I remember they had, like, during the intro or at one point in the show, they would have females jumping on a trampoline. Right? See, I remember a little bit of it. I know somebody knows what I'm talking about. Leave me a comment. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. I just don't remember what the name of the show was. Not that it's important. My point is that Jimmy Kimmel, apparently he was on there. Jimmy Kimmel was on there. And at that time, that show was funny. Somewhat funny. And again, I never watched it. But this guy having anti-ice on there, on the bullets, at an ICE facility, and taking the life of 2 people, harming others, and then taking his own life. But we don't know the motive. We don't know the motive. We don't know the reason. He was just being funny. I couldn't believe it when I first heard him say that. I was like, I couldn't believe that he actually said that. I couldn't believe he actually said it. But yeah, he straight up said it. Oh, he's just being funny. That's all it is. He's just being funny. Just a big, big joke. That's all that it is. Just a big elaborate joke. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Okay, so it was The Man Show. Okay, thank you. Yeah, The Man Show. I knew it had something to do with man in it, right? The Man Show. And that, I guess that's the time when Jimmy Kimmel didn't have an issue with the man being a man. Thank you so much for that. Let me say this. As much as people have said despicable things to me, I've never wanted to harm them. Conservative Christians, we don't go out to look to harm people. We don't. Can we just be honest here? Because if that was the case, you would see video after video. It makes me think about how the left, all of a sudden, remember they were saying Asian hate? Do y'all remember that? They were saying, oh my goodness, all of this Asian hate. This Asian hate. All of this Asian hate. And then when the truth about it came out, because there was no videos in the Asian hate that they were talking about, they were saying that this Asian hate, they were getting attacks from white people. They were actually saying that white supremacists and white people attacking Asians all across the country. No videos, mind you. Nothing from it. They put it out there to see if they could get it to go. And then when videos of Asian hate started popping up, it was black people doing it. The story went away quick. Went away quick. Oh, wait, whoa. Make it go away. Make it go away. Then they didn't want to talk about any more Asian hate. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. It's the left and all these leftist organizations that's being violent. It's the left that don't want us to have a civil conversation. It's the left. Every time I've had, before I became full on MAGA extremist, and I was just, transitioning from an independent to a Republican to a conservative to now I'm being a MAGA extremist, that when I would consider myself a Democrat and I lived in Arkansas and I would have conversations with Republicans, they were never nasty. They would want to actually have a conversation. We would have a discussion back and forth. And see, at the time, there were no liberals around me, especially the white female liberal, no liberals around me to prevent me from having a civil conversation with a Republican. And see, that was like part of the transitioning part, that what made it happen, because I was able to talk to Republicans that were not being nasty to me, not threatening me, even though I was arguing with, I would argue, and I didn't know what I was arguing about. I was just arguing because I was regurgitating the talking points that I had heard. And they still talk to me, and then after a while, I started doing more research because I went out to try to prove them wrong, and I ended up proving them right. Which brings me to today. This is the reason why they're still hitting me hard. This is the reason why they're still doing it. YouTube put a statement out, or not YouTube, the House Judiciary Committee put a statement out that Google admitted to censoring conservatives, but I didn't see in their statement anywhere that they actually said that they're going to stop censoring people, stop shadow banning people. They just said that they were going to allow their accounts to come back on, but the censorship is still in full effect. It's still happening. It's still happening right now today. The censorship is still full effect. Right? I've actually asked people on YouTube, did you get a notification? I know it's happening on Facebook. Oh my goodness. Facebook is like, I mean, YouTube and Facebook are the worst when it comes to, still censoring conservatives. And again, all of this because of the way I think, the way I believe is the reason why they're blocking people from hearing what I have to say. The left, especially the white female, I don't know why it's like that. Maybe y'all can explain it to me. I don't know. But liberals in general, they have it in their mind that I don't like what you're saying, so no one should hear what you have to say. And I've constantly said this for years. I think it should be your decision if you want to hear anything that I have to say. It should be your decision. But they don't see it that way. They believe in their minds that they have to silence your speech because they don't like it, and it touched them. It touched them in a way that they don't like. It convicted them. So they're still doing it to me. Still doing it to me. That's why I have to ask you for your support. I have to ask you to share the video, hit the thumbs up, go to my website if God puts it on your heart, and support me there. I mean, I need help. I've put it all on the line. I mean, I really have. I put it all on the line, and they have done so much damage to me. They've hurt me financially, and they tried to break me down spiritually. They really have. The stuff that they've done to me is just, unbelievable. And I know Satan is behind it because of what I'm doing, because of what I'm saying, because I believe in the true living God. So Satan is using these people to target me. And when and a lot of them know that they're being used by Satan, but because of what I'm saying, and they're so infested with the evilness, they don't care. They're just like, I don't care. We're just going to do it to you anyways, because I don't like what you're saying. I've never called for violence. I don't show nudity. I don't even curse. I don't even curse. So if you can, and God puts it on your heart, go to my website, uniteamericanfirst.com. Support me. You like my shirt? God got this? You like this? It's on my website. It's currently on my website. If you want to get one of these. If you want to get one of these shirts, it's currently right here on my website, uniteamericanfirst.com. And all you have to do is go to, if I can find the window here, I can show it to you. You go to the website here, and you click on where it says shop merch right there, and it brings you up here, and you can see right there, God got this. If you want to pick up one of these, and of course, You know, I got the Trump is your president again. And it's right there on my website, uniteamericafirst.com. uniteamericafirst.com. Or if you have enough t-shirts, because a lot of people like, I don't need another t-shirt, and you just want to help me out, and I get that. You can go click on donate at the top, click on donate, and there's some people will do the monthly thing supporting me, or some people just do the one-time thing, which I greatly appreciate. That's why I put them there, because some people say I can't do monthly thing, but I can help you out every now and then. I greatly appreciate it. And some people don't want to do the digital thing, so I have my physical address right there. There's my physical address if you want to support me. UniteAmericaFirst.com right there. All my information is right there. Right there. That's my physical address right here in Texas. It's my physical address. All right, everybody, that's it for me. I'm going to get ready for my next show. What I'm going to do is Culture Wars. And if you want to check that out, you want to tune in, right here on the front page, the home page, all you have to do is go to UniteAmericaFirst.com, and you'll see it right there. Click on Culture Wars right there in the middle. We'll bring it to the top page right there. Right there. Click on Culture Wars right there in the middle. And I'm going to talk more about this guy in Dallas and some more things that you're not going to want to miss. So by all means, set a mobile alert on your phone. And when you're over there, leave me a comment saying you came over from here to there because you saw me here. Let me know. Say, well, I came over from your other show, you know, because I do look in the comments. I have the comments really big up on the screen over there. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Thank you so much. God bless you. Stay safe out there. And just remember, God got this. No matter how much they want us to believe that, oh, it's both sides. No, it's not both sides. Both sides is not doing all of this. It is truly the side of Satan that's doing it. Let's keep it real. God bless.